Good. Let's see if I stand over here. Oh, much better. What is up, Instagram? Waiting for the one and only Jenna Werner. We're going to talk about probiotics because last time we got... Oh, there she is. Add her. Jenna. Just, let's see, waiting for her to hop on. Because. Hey! What is up?
Wait, did Instagram run an update? Because now you can see the whole person on the bottom.
What do you mean you can see the whole person?
Because normally it was like in a weird square. Like I feel like you can actually see me.
I mean, last time I could see you. I hope you weren't like hiding behind anything.
I feel like my head was cut off kind of like in a weird way. But like, whatever.
Hey, how are you, Jenna? Everything good?
Wait.
Awesome.
Beef Boy is on here right now, and he plays my favorite song ever. I feel like it's so appropriate for this live right now to start with a really good song.
Do it.
Except now I'm gonna have to figure out how to do it. I don't know how to do that off my phone.
So
anyways, just
we
know
have.
that I love you if you're watching, and everybody download his song Vibe because it's the best, or get it off the HSH playlist.
Which you have 2 playlists on Spotify.
Multiple,
I follow both.
Only 2 good ones.
Oh. Well, on that note, I'm just gonna leave you here. Thanks for coming to the show.
But
For
the
some reason.
HSH Lift Heavy has it on it, and that is Tony's favorite. So,
That's
anyways.
for the gains.
Oh, you're wearing your PB&J shirt.
Aw,
So
spread the
happy.
love.
Wait, I am so happy right now. Today has been such a day, and I've been like literally looking forward to this all day. I have some notes.
Ooh, excited.
I'm ready. So
You're ready to talk about probiotics like no
No.
one else.
You know how much I hate this topic. So
You
so
absolutely
happy.
love it. If anyone is watching, if you've ever taken probiotics, hit the heart button down there. Also, let us know where you're tuning in from. I think that's your mom saying hi, because
Sure
she's the
is.
one that,
Hi, Mom.
hey, Mom. We are so
We all
happy you
know
asked
she
about the
takes
probiotics. Yeah.
And she was into this topic.
So we're going to leave that for last, so she has to watch the whole live.
She better be. There you go. I see some hearts. We got them coming in. So
There you go.
honestly, the one thing, like, I kind of wanted to start with like a bomb, like a truth bomb real quick for everybody. Oh, my light went out. That's fun.
We got someone from
guys-
Toronto. What's up?
Oh, that's fun. Ohio. So
Ohio.
guys, Tony blew my mind the last time we spoke, and it wasn't about probiotics. And I just, like, for a hot second, want him to blow everybody else's minds, because over the weekend, I cleaned out my cabinets of all the supplement shit that I used to buy and take. And I was laughing as I was emptying the container of branched-chain amino acids, thinking about all the poor birds that were being harmed when they made this. And most of you won't know what I mean by this, but Tony literally, like, blew my freaking mind with this one. So please, can you just tell everybody what they're taking?
So what Jen is referring to is BCAAs, which everyone has seen in supplement stores all across America, from GNC to Vitamin Shop. And she was just saying, so we're just talking about, you know, where BCA comes from. And I always love to bring this fun fact up. And I always like to ask people, where do you think BCA comes from? Which is a protein. So like, oh, it's got to be from protein powder, right?
Okay.
Funny story. It comes from bird feathers.
Like, what?
Absolute yuck.
I still, like, literally cannot handle that fact, because, like, I had so many containers of them in my home.
I wish I could tell you I knew what birds they came from, but I don't.
If
So
you tell
let's
me
just hope they
seagulls,
come from...
I will die. Like, I will actually die.
I hope they're not seagulls. That would be terrible.
I would literally die.
I'm hoping
My
it's from
veins
chicken
are popping.
feathers or like, hey, what's up, Sarah?
What up, Sarah?
I'm hoping it's like turkey feathers or chicken feathers, because at least it's not food waste, but
Okay.
bird feathers it is for BCAAs.
Like, not okay, people. Just think about that for a sec, okay?
And I'm sure you've had the same thing happen to you, Jenna. I was talking to someone in the DMs about this. Like, she was like, what should I take? Glutamine? Should I take BCAAs? Like, how many times do people buy all these supplements which you just cleaned out? So I'd love to hear what you cleaned out besides bird feathers. But you just get like in that DM and you're just like, you need to stop wasting your money on supplements and hire a dietitian, hire a nutrition coach with that money that you're wasting on supplements, because you're wasting your money on what, bird feathers and fat burners that don't work. Happy.
My favorite phrase. But like, here's the thing, and I think that, I don't know if this dietitian's on here, but somebody Joanna posted about this yesterday, that like real nutrition isn't sexy. Like, there's nothing cool about being like, hey, drink your water so you can poop every day and let's like get you feeling better. Like, no, like nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to pay for that, because on top of that, I'm literally going to tell you, it's going to take you 3 to 6 months minimum to start seeing your changes. And everyone's like, peace out, bye. Let me continue to buy my supplements that I can see results in like 13 seconds from. I'm joking.
Have some water. Hydrate or dihydrate.
I am about this. Hi. But really and truly, I believe that I've been exactly in that same boat, and I've been fooled and I've been tempted, and I've seen like the sex appeal from the supplements and from that supplement industry, or the other influencers or people that are like, yes, this tummy tea, like yes, I've been influenced by that, and I get it. Like, I so get it. But the reality is, I just threw away probably $100 worth of supplements that, like, I want to, like, be fair, most of the bottles were pretty full, so like I didn't take them for too long, so I literally threw away money. I recycled the bottles. We're on a big recycling kick in this house. But you know, the reality is that it's truly a waste of money, because one, any supplement, and this is part of our like main point, if you hang on with us tonight about probiotics, like leave a little bomb right there. But like, the reality is that no supplements work if you take it one time. No nutrition changes work if you do it one time. No exercises work if you do it one time. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. And so the reality is that consistency is the key.
In case you didn't know, that was a bomb, folks.
No. But like, these are things nobody wants to hear, and everyone's like, nope, I'm gonna save my money and my problems for another month. And it's like, I get it, but like, there's also still so many times I could be so passionate and I can make my message so clear, and there's still, I get clients that are like, hey, it's been a month and I'm really not seeing any changes, and I'm like, give me another 5. Hang on. I don't know what to say at some point. Like, there is work that goes into this. If Barb, enough.
You are correct. Liposuction is one time, but most likely you'll be going back for round 2.
There you go. I know her. It's okay.
Yeah. It's all right, Barb. You know what? I like Barb from Stranger Things, so we'll miss you on the other side of the other world, so don't worry, you'll be doing liposuction there.
She's in Rochester, New York, which is like the other side of the world right now, right, Barb? But the truth is that, so I threw away, you're gonna love this, green tea extract, like lots of it, okay? A lot of CLAs, conjugated linoleic acids.
Oh,
God. Justice for Barb, I'm dying. Tubs and tubs of branched chain amino acids. I kept a lot of my protein powders because I do use those. Yeah. But I threw away any of the ones that had any like caffeine or whatever mixed into it. And I had something called, my husband actually found 2 bottles of it, and he was like, what the hell is this? It was like it was not a fat burner, but it was a omega-3 with a burner effect in it that was supposed to like slash the flame out is what it was called. So like, get rid of all
boom! Like, inflammation is slammed out, folks.
Like, out. I wish I saved the bottles for tonight.
Yeah,
so we could literally be like, Jenna, you're an idiot. But you know, the reality is, guys, I've been a dietitian. I'm looking at my certificate right now. Since 2010, I was registered on that day. Actually, September 11th, 2010. So almost
no way.
9 years ago to the day, I became
Congratulations.
A dietitian. Thank you. And I threw away bottles of supplements Sunday. So it's okay. We get it. Like, if you have this in your home, like, we're not any different than you. I'm constantly learning, and I'm constantly being fooled by the glamour, the glitz, the sexiness of influence out there too. So like, first and foremost, please don't feel like you're ever alone. And if you have any of these in your house, don't feel shame. I mean, those bottles, some of them were super old, but some of them I bought within the past 2 years. So like, again, there's very few things that I recommend to my clients, but here and there, apparently I like to try things too.
Hey, you can't knock it till you try it, but
Right.
I'm on the same page as you. Like, I still have supplements that I got from people that would just send it to me when I worked in pro sports, and they were just like, I want you to try, I want you to try. And I'm like, no, because it's not third-party certified, and all these marketing gimmicks that they put, right? Like, it's not going to work, folks. Just because you drink it once, just because you take it once, even if you took it long-term, like, omega-3s and fat burning? What? Slam away your problem. Bam. Unless you're playing basketball with Shaq, that would be the only time you're going to get slammed on. But so like, and then CLAs just, I remember that too. Like, it's like, you're going to get abs. I think there's one actually called ab cuts
Yes.
from CLAs,
I'm pretty
right?
sure there's abs on the bottle.
So that means it's going to work, right?
So it does work.
But back to you, like, congrats, 9 years tomorrow. Holy smokes. And again, you said it, you're learning. How many of these influencers learned what they're preaching? They don't even know it. I would recommend everyone here, if you follow an influencer, someone that's preaching what they're doing, ask them the why behind it. Like, just why did they do it and how did they learn it?
So
because someone like Jenna or myself will show you our RD certificate and tell you why we did it. Literally, show it. You have it right.
Hold on, guys. This is the OG right
Shout
here.
out to Ann, Academy of Nutrition Dietetics, CDR.
Someone take a screenshot. Come on.
I wish we could send this for like CEUs.
Like,
when it comes to the end, yeah. We just gave you a shout out to the world. Academy of Nutrition Dietetics. Give us at least one CEU, please.
I need
or that half CEU, yeah.
But like, the truth is that even though we went through all of this stuff, like, the nutrition and education in the world is changing so much. And like, I always tell clients all the time that nutrition is a baby science, and like, the grand scheme of sciences and like everything out there, nutrition is a young science. And so it's constantly evolving. And another point that Tony and I are going to talk about is
eventually
the study, right, one day. The studies that are out there on a lot of these nutrition topics have very few. They're short studies, and there are very few people that are involved in them, because nutrition is constantly evolving and changing. But one thing that never has throughout the process, which is something that Tony and I both preach, and I actually found this book at a super old book written by two dietitians. I found it in Woodstock, New York, at a farmer's or a flea market. It was $1, okay? And this healthy cooking on the run book that was written by two RDs, I think in the early 70s.
Actually, that's how they paid for Woodstock tickets. That's how they paid for it. Literally. Oh my God. I want to recreate that with you.
Whoever you two are, if you're watching, I love you. But like, the truth is that this book talks about the food groups. It talks about the 5 food groups. It talks about proteins, carbs, and fats, how to pair them. And it talks about portion, Mom. It talks about portion sizes of those food groups. Yes, you did, Mom. You bought that for me. But so it talks about portion size of the food group. So throughout the years, that has remained consistent.
Dietetics, give us at least one CEU, please.
I need
or that half CEU, yeah.
But like, the truth is that even though we went through all of this stuff, like, the nutrition and education in the world is changing so much. And like, I always tell clients all the time that nutrition is a baby science, and like, the grand scheme of sciences and like everything out there, nutrition is a young science. And so it's constantly evolving. And another point that Tony and I are going to talk about is
eventually
the study, right, one day. The studies that are out there on a lot of these nutrition topics have very few. They're short studies, and there are very few people that are involved in them, because nutrition is constantly evolving and changing. But one thing that never has throughout the process, which is something that Tony and I both preach, and I actually found this book at a
Wow.
super old book written by two dietitians. I found it at in Woodstock, New York, at a farmer's or a flea market. It was $1, okay? And this healthy cooking on the run book that was written by two RDs, I think in the early 70s.
Actually, that's how they paid for Woodstock tickets. That's how they paid for it. Literally. Oh my God. I want to recreate that with you.
Whoever you two are, if you're watching, I love you. But like the truth is that this book talks about the food groups. It talks about the 5 food groups. It talks about proteins, carbs, and fats, how to pair them, and it talks about portion, Mom. It talks about portion sizes of those food groups. Yes, you did, Mom. You bought that for me. But so it talks about portion size of the food group. So throughout the years, that has remained consistent. And I know that's something that I teach my clients every single day. And I know that's something that you have built your practice on as well. And that's something that has stayed true throughout the years when keto and intermittent fasting and all this other bullshit has like come along. You know, these two ladies have written the truth in the pages of this book that smells awful.
It went through Woodstock a couple times. It's okay.
Literally, it's just legitimately like the truth, and it's simple. And like that's the thing. We have overcomplicated nutrition with supplements and, you know, restriction and all sorts of rules. When the truth is, if we kept it simple, it would. That was your mom.
Come on, Barb. Justice for Barb.
But like the truth is, if we kept it simple, we wouldn't be having the problems that we're having right now. And a conversation I actually had with my husband recently was that like right now we have the most people talking about nutrition, and we have the most people talking about wellness and fitness and all this stuff, and we are the most unhealthy as a country that we've ever been. And we have the most rise of all of. If BC is in my post tonight, no, Dad, you're fine. He takes collagen. We're okay.
Dad, you're golden. But that is a great question. BCAAs should be in your protein powders because BCAAs are what make proteins. Now, if they're spiking it with extra amino acids, that's when it's a problem. It's probably not a good protein. But if J-Dub, a.k.a. Jay Werner, a.k.a. J.W. Marriott, she's got you 100%. So don't worry about it, Dad. You're good. You're good, Dad. Don't worry about it.
I also love that you're both on here right now. I love you. Thank you.
Big shout out.
Shout out to the Stock family right now. Really supportive. But, so, again, we are going to talk about probiotics. That's my 2 cents to start this. Did you want to say anything?
I have a quick question for you. Can we recreate that photo at Fancy of those 2 dietitians?
Please, do you want me to bring this?
Yeah, just
for Fancy? Okay, you got it. Do you have this outfit? Because I think that I might. Again, for anyone that missed it.
Yeah, I definitely have that in my closet.
Okay.
I've been saving to wear it.
Do you want to make sure that you have the haircut too? I'm telling you. This is like the best. It's 2 registered dietitians. They spelled dietitian wrong with a C on the back. They're full-time consultants in the San Francisco Bay Area. And they write a weekly newspaper column on sensible eating and weight management. Okay? Wow. This is OG price was $9.95.
Before newsletters, there was newspapers, and that's how you got your sensible eating and mindful eating tips.
Guys,
welcome.
It doesn't have to be hard. Like, they didn't make it hard. Like,
so I want to hop into probiotics, but I want you to talk about like what you do, because that's something we wanted to start with. Like, why did you choose behavior-based coaching? Why don't you do macro-based coaching? Like, what is your why behind it? Like, you've been doing this for 9 years, right? Like, we know macros work, right, but what made you shift to behavior-based?
And so I'm going to answer this, and I want to make sure I don't offend anybody with what I'm saying when I say it, okay?
I hope you do offend someone.
I firmly believe, and I think that the internet proves this, that like any website can show you how to track a macro. But when you're tracking a macro, do you know what that macro is? Do you know the foods? Do you understand why you're doing those things? Unless you're working with a dietitian or nutrition expert that's such baloney. Like, it really frustrates me because it's become so popular, right? But so I'm not even gonna get into that because I don't want to get myself in trouble. But what I believe in is behavior management because it's what has stayed true throughout the years. The truth of the matter is that anybody can help you lose weight too. But in order for you to lose 1, 2, 3, 10, 15, 20 pounds and keep that off forever, you have to be educated and you have to be empowered. And I firmly believe that without the understanding as to why you're eating certain things, without the understanding of, what your needs are and how to continuously keep your food intake fun and exciting and make it something that like gets you feeling good while you're eating it, excited to eat it, feels good afterwards, you're working towards goals while you're cooking, you're having fun in the kitchen, you're not going to keep doing it. So if I can help one person have fun with their food and also lose even 2 pounds, but that 2 pounds never comes back, that's a win to me. And so my mindset is really not about helping people lose massive amounts of weight. I would love to help you reach every goal you set. But like, I want you to come back to the understanding when we're working together that anyone can help you lose 10 pounds in 30 days. But that same 10 pounds comes back double or triple. And then now you have 30 pounds to lose, right? Whereas in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, if we can get you to lose 2 pounds, that you literally say, you 2 pounds are never coming back on my body unless I tell you to because I'm carrying a baby or I want to gain weight, whatever it is. Unless I decide I want those 2 pounds back, they're never coming back because you've understood how you got there. You understood the sacrifices that it took to get there. You understood the changes that it took to get there. You understood the behaviors that we stacked in order to create those changes. And to me, like, that is empowering, it's educational, it's exciting, it's fun. And like, food gets me so excited that I literally can't breathe right now talking about this. And
At least you're not choking up.
I want you to have this same feeling. And so again, I think it's important that we enjoy kale as much as we enjoy chocolate, and it's important that we have both of those things in our diet. And like, I am not the type of person like you'll never see me eating like a huge donut and a pizza all in one sitting just because that doesn't make me happy. Like, it just doesn't. Like, that's just not me. But like, I want to teach you how to have the things that you want in the moderation that keeps you feeling good after you eat those foods. So, yeah, did I answer your question?
Nope, do it again, but from the
All
beginning and multiply. Yeah, I absolutely love that, Jenna, and that's exact. Funny enough, I was talking to a behavior psychologist last week, and I was telling them about my program, which is similar to what you do, behavior based. And they were like, so you educate and adapt. And you said education and empowerment, but it's education and adaptation as well, because when you progress through people, like from month 1 to month 3, they're completely different. And now they have a new set of challenges. From month 3 to month 6, new challenges. So I'm sure you work with clients that have moved locations. They might have an issue in so I had a client that their stove didn't work, their fridge didn't work. So how they're going to meal prep for the week? They were so stressed. I'm like, you guys have a grill. You guys can grill this week. Like, what's the challenge? Okay, you have a microwave, like helping them, right? Like, education and adapt. Those are the two things that I think help bring our behavior-based focus, right? Like,
writing it down.
Yeah. Wait.
Got it.
I decided to do this live, standing up.
Though.
Yeah.
That's so true and that's so powerful. And I mean, look, you should be able to take your nutrition knowledge and the adapting of the education and the tools that you've learned on every vacation, on every weekend away from home, while you're home, at a friend's house, at a family party, at a dinner, all of those things. When you have the knowledge behind the choices, you don't need a phone to tell you, oh, I'm allowed to have this much more food. Like, that's something that I get it. I fully get it. I've tracked calories on MyFitnessPal. Like, I've done that. Like, I'm not hating on it, but that has like a mental component to it that is just not sustainable. And at some point you do have to learn what hungry feels like and what full feels like, so that you can say, like, I literally told someone this the other day, like, I firmly believe you do not need a phone to tell you when you're hungry. And if you do, then we have some more work to do. So that's just a piece of like the diet culture that has, it's almost like it's, people love rules, and like sometimes people love to break rules, but also
Yeah.
sometimes people really like rules because they make them feel free. And what I always tell people is like, I get it, it's so fucking scary, sorry, to say that you are going to start something that you are going to keep doing for the rest of your life. Like there's not many things that you do that you have to do forever, right? So that is, I get it, it's scary, there's no end point technically, but like take that challenge on, adapt with it, roll with it, understand it, and like understand that that's how we're growing, that's how we're changing, and that's like, you have to eat every day. And so like, don't you want to learn how to enjoy that?
Yep. 100%. I
Right?
do.
Me too. I just had a snack before we started. I texted you 6 hours ago, whatever it was, before my dog started puking again, that I was starving and I had just eaten. So you were like, so what did you just eat?
Yeah.
Because we're constantly learning too. And again, it's understanding that every day is also not going to be the exact same. And it doesn't have to be, and it shouldn't be. And you should learn how to adapt and change and roll with those punches. So I love it.
How is your dog doing?
Oh, he's upstairs sleeping, like really sad. It's the saddest thing. Of course, my dog, the dietitian's dog, has to be on a special diet now for the next 3 months. Like, okay, I think I deserve that.
You should write a book about it and then sell it for people and become a millionaire.
Somebody literally told me that today, and they were like, I'm so sorry for your loss right now, but you should write a book about it. I was like, shut up. I can't even write a book about people food. Hi, Allison.
Isn't that crazy? And think about it, I'm sure you could make a diet off of what your dog has to eat and people would follow it because, like you said, people sometimes love rules. Yeah. They'd be like, what? Oh my God, a dog eats that? Perfect. I can do it. Why? Wait, what?
I get my belly rubbed too.
Yeah. That's the name of the diet, the belly rub diet. Right there. What do? You just get your belly rubbed.
It's the best. He has a really good life.
So when you're hungry, all you do is rub your belly and hunger will go away instantly. That's the diet.
I'm sure people would try it.
It's not working. I just kept rubbing my belly.
Guys, don't you see though that like that's literally what some of these diets and supplements and everything are like? That's literally, they're on the same playing field as that. Like that sounds crazy, but like when you restrict a whole food group and when you restrict the amount of food down to 0. I saw someone post something the other day that, for the record, 1,200 calories is the requirement for a minimally active 5-year-old. Like, this is what people are eating every day. And I get it. You will lose weight, most likely. If you've never dieted before, you'll probably lose weight on that diet, but to a point. And then what happens when your metabolism adapts to that? There's only so much less you can eat. So that wasn't supposed to be our topic of tonight, but I think it's a really good one. However,
I agree.
Right? However, I did get one question that you did answer on our last live that I think that would be pertinent for now too, just about the combo of collagen with vitamin C for joint health.
Yes.
What I learned from our last live together was that the studies, are you ready? Because I listened, that the studies show only collagen taken about 30 minutes prior to a workout paired with vitamin C turn on that activation for you to turn on the switch for improved muscle building, but also for your joint protection.
Preach.
What I do. So that I wish I had a client that I could do that with. But that means that before your workout, 30 minutes in your pre-workout, you can have some orange juice with some vitamin C or with some collagen mixed into it, and that can help protect those joints. So especially those of you, if you're on here right now that are doing a ton of HIIT style workouts, like protect those joints. If there are studies that show this, like, let's use that knowledge and use collagen in the right way. I love collagen. I love good glow, but I also love to protect
the
my
glow
joints.
up, girl.
And that is really, really, yes, that fruit in your smoothie counts because you're using strawberries which have vitamin C, so that's perfect.
Papa Stock with the questions tonight. I love it. Keep it coming.
Dad, can I share what's coming in the next week? Because this is really good for you. I'm just going to anyway. I love you.
I hope you're ready for this, Dad.
Yeah, man. He's getting his hip replaced, so he's getting some surgery. So we have him drinking this really awesome smoothie in the morning, getting those nutrients up. And that collagen was purposeful for those joints. So that is something that he's been doing for a couple months now. I'm feeling good about it. Right, Dad?
Love it.
Give me a thumbs up or something.
Real quick. So you're saying a dietitian knows how to help someone who's going pre and post op? Oh my God, can an influencer do that? How did you learn that?
But there's inflammation involved, right?
Like,
that's a buzzword, right?
Yeah. You're the best, Papa Stock. Thank you for allowing us to share that, even though you didn't say yes. Yeah. He's like, uh-oh, what's she gonna share?
Whatever. He's used to this by now.
Yeah. But yeah, like you're turning 9 years old tomorrow as a dietitian, and before that, you had to do an internship in a hospital where you had to help people recover. Like
5.5 years, okay? People, it took me an extra half a year.
That's just an extra half year of learning.
I did have a double major. My dad probably loved that part, but it did take me 5.5 years with internship to graduate. So we're talking 14.5 years in the trenches of nutrition. Like,
preach.
So yeah, in the hospital is really where the textbooks came to life too. And that was like the craziest thing for me, to be able to see things like the kidney disease, like to see dialysis in person. Like I'll never forget that smell, and I'll never forget like being in that room and watching all of that happen, and like literally seeing the power of nutrition. Nutrition is preventative care. Like nutrition is preventative medication. And if we use it the right way, it can be fun, it can be satisfying, and it can also help us maintain and improve our health. And like that's something that I have the biggest problem with nutrition on Instagram or on social media specifically, is because we've forgotten about the health benefits of food. We've been so focused on how they can help us lose weight, gain weight, lose muscle, gain muscle, burn fat, whatever it is. And we forget that there's also very important things like blood sugar control and cholesterol control and helping you keep a healthy heart. And, you know, there's so many other processes that your food choices are heavily impacted by, and nobody talks about that. And what people do talk about a lot, that they over talk about, is something like hormone health and inflammation and all of these things that are really just being used to scare you. And like that freaks me out, because it's very easy, again, to be influenced by that because they say it in this sexy way. So my recommendation to anybody watching and anybody listening is, again, what Tony said in the beginning: challenge those people that are writing these things. And if it is somebody that you trust and that gives you their credentials and their education and the studies behind what they're posting about, then, you know, try it on yourself in a safe way under the care of a professional and go for it. But like anybody that's talking about healing your hormones with a supplement, like ask a couple questions before going to that. Those are things I wish I did before I bought supplements back in the day, but I didn't. And, you know, I'm still here to talk about it. But again, it impacts you in more than just a physical way. It can impact you internally, mentally. All of these things play a role in nutrition. And what I always tell my clients is that nutrition is about so much more than food. And that's something that, again, is not really discussed. But if you want to make a lifestyle change that lasts forever, like this needs to be part of your life, like the whole life, the whole thing. Yeah. And that's not so consistent with across the board, I should say.
Yeah, I love it. Love it, girl. Absolutely.
Should we talk about probiotics?
And in case you guys were wondering, the smell that Jenna was talking about in the dialysis clinic is not a fun one. So I hope you never have to smell that. I'm just taken back to that. But so let's talk about prebiotics. So and probiotics, because I actually love the way you phrased it, like the Pac-Man. So yes. So if you could explain that, because I actually use that with my clients. So I absolutely love it.
I've used everything you taught me, and I love that. So I'm happy that I was able to help.
Hey, just going back to like what we're saying about influencers, ask them a question, and if they're brave enough to say they don't know, then they might be trustworthy, because there's things I don't know, and there's things that Jenna doesn't know. But you know what? We're okay to say we don't know, but we'll figure it out for you. We'll help. We'll find someone.
We have resources too, and people that are specialists in these areas. You know, we have a community of people that are specialists in all of these different areas that are trusted sources that have dedicated their degrees and extra degrees to specific topics that like I just don't know enough about. So what are you trying to turn?
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I was trying to wave at someone and then it flipped my camera around. So sorry about that.
So anyways, prebiotics and probiotics. Most people don't realize that there are two things that actually are necessary to have the gut health benefits of a probiotic. The prebiotic is the food that the probiotic needs to eat for it to be activated in your gut to promote the gut healing benefits of a probiotic and promote the good bacteria. So there are probiotics that have prebiotics joined into them or a part of them that actually activate once it's digested in your digestive system. It turns that on and can actually start that process of growing that healthy bacterial garden inside your belly. So the truth of the matter is that if you're taking a probiotic pill, which we will get to in a second, there is a lot of things. Yes, Izzy, you're talking about probiotics. Yes. But there are a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration when choosing a probiotic. And one of them is if it doesn't have that prebiotic piece to it, you need to be eating a source of prebiotics. Something like onions and garlic are natural sources. Inulin is a prebiotic, or chicory root fiber, I believe. Yep. Some of these other crazy weird words are prebiotic fibers and need to be eaten with the source of probiotic for it to actually do anything, like literally for it to come alive. Do I look like a flower? Because like I picture probiotics as like a flower garden in our bellies. Like that's a probiotic coming to life. So literally it's like the Pac-Man has to eat it for it to turn on and like get its extra life. Okay, so prebiotic probiotics together create the actual activation efforts inside your belly, but there's so much more to probiotics than just that like again, Tony blew my mind with this last time. We talked about, we conferred a little bit today.
Yes. We sat back in our chairs with our lab coats, and I put on my glasses. Jenna put on her glasses. We were just like, let's talk about
Yeah! It doesn't work when you have a headband on. There we go.
And we spoke about probiotics. We spoke about the studies. And we dove deep into it because it's important. We want to make sure, because I wasn't sure. Jenna wasn't sure, and it's like, well, let's figure it out. Then. That's all we can do. You know, that's literally it.
So Tony actually challenged the company that we were talking about last time too. And again, I'm not going to put them down at all because I do believe that they have helped, specifically me, but they have helped many of my clients. And if any of you are listening and are still taking Regular Girl and it's working for you, that's okay. But it is not the only probiotic out there. It does have a pre and probiotic source matched to it, which is a great thing for that activation effort. But there are a lot of flaws in recommending that as a blanket for everyone, which again, nutrition is customized for a reason. Because there's no blanket statements for anything.
Yep. Nope. So, I 100% agree with that. Like when I read through everything, I was like, oh, duh, Tony, individualized. Like, yes, this probably works for some people. It's a good start. So there's nothing wrong with it. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is we just dove deeper into it because we wanted to know. We wanted to give you the best information.
You're welcome.
See you guys later. Thanks for coming. That's the end of the live. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that it's so important to, again, you know, one of the things Tony talked about last time as well was that third-party certification. And this, you know, there are probiotic brands out there that have a third-party certification and there are some that don't. That is something that's super necessary to look for because, again, we don't know what's in supplements. But what a probiotic is meant to do is to help with that, replenish your positive gut flora that gets lost after birth. We don't really produce more of it. And if you are someone that has eaten a lot of fried food in your life, has taken a lot of antibiotics, has drank a lot of alcohol, perhaps an excessive amount, has any type of intestinal issues or inflammatory diseases.
Oh, sorry.
Why is that sitting right next to you? Is the question.
Hydrate or dihydrate. You never know where I'm going on the live.
But, you know, if you have any of those experiences in your life, a probiotic may be necessary for you. If you're not pooping every day, a probiotic may be necessary for you, but it's not the first line of defense. It is a piece of the puzzle, or possibly a piece of the puzzle. But the one thing, before Tony drops some mad knowledge, but the one thing that I think is really important to know is that why I refer to probiotics as like a flower in a flower garden is because they don't work unless you take them every day. So you can literally picture the probiotic with the prebiotic activating in your belly and starting to plant a seed. And then every day, it's almost like you're watering it, and then they're growing and they're getting bigger and they're doing what they want to do over time, because it's that consistency that pays off with anything that we do in life, specifically when it comes to nutrition. So you can think about like literally like you're growing a flower garden, and what we have researched and found is that a minimum of 3 months daily is what is recommended and necessary to see some benefit. And then from there, it's a person-to-person specific recommendation whether you should continue or try to wean yourself off, or again, maybe use when you travel, or whatever the case may be for you.
Yep, 100%. Hello, thank you for jumping in. Everyone, when you come in, please make sure to say hello, wave at us, hit the heart button if you're excited about this probiotics talk. We've been saving this for some time, so we finally scheduled it in. But everything Jenna said, 100% true. People that have abused alcohol, people that have just had babies, like your gut microbiome is all messed up, and we need to replenish that flower plant you got into that garden. Funny enough, I was talking to another dietitian who focuses on like mental health, and he works with the community of like the homeless. And what he found is, because they can't afford probiotics, what he does, he actually puts them on the ketogenic diet. Why? Because it cleans out their gut microbiome, because they have no fiber, people. So that's not a good thing. You don't want that. So you shouldn't be doing the keto diet, because I'm just telling you, it's getting rid of all the stuff that we just told you is good for you. Yeah, when he told me that, I was like, wait, whoa, why are you doing the keto? Tell me about this more. And the reason is because there's a link, and they're doing more and more research on it, so don't go wild on it. But yeah, between the gut and the mind. So what his thought process is doing the keto diet on these people that can't afford probiotics, clean out their guts, then reintroduce fiber-rich food. So rebuilding that flora, rebuilding that garden that you're talking about. And I thought that was so interesting. So number one, you shouldn't be doing the keto diet, because you're pretty much going to your house and lighting it on fire, and you're restarting again. You're turning that garden on fire. So we don't want to do that. So this is pretty much fertilizer for your garden. We want to make sure you have beautiful flowers, that you're making the best poops in the world.
My favorite topic.
And going back to the prebiotic we spoke about, the studies the two main ones that we're just kind of going to look at. One was 13 autistic Japanese children, and the other one was 10 Japanese women. And the one thing it didn't take into account was, yes, they're small. Your number, yeah, duh. That's not many people. How do we know it's effective? Two, we don't know what they ate before, after, during. So they said that during the study they kept the same food, but we don't know how they were eating before. What if they were alcoholics? Not the kids, but the 10 Japanese women. And it's just like, we don't know what they're eating before. If they had a low fiber diet, of course, adding that fiber, like Jenna was talking about before, is going to help that gut flourish. So it's like, hello. And then what they did to see if it worked or not was checking their poop. So, Jenna, do you want to talk about poop?
I love poop. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad.
Sorry, Papa Stock.
My husband's not listening. But like literally, when I speak with the clients, one of the first questions I ask on our intro call is, are you regular? And like, I love when people are like, oh, maybe this is TMI. I'm like, no, tell me more, because there's so much nutritional information that lives inside there. Like color, texture, size, frequency, time of day, routine, all of that is something that is very unique to you and tells us so much about how you're absorbing food, how much you're eating, if you're not eating enough. And there are so many people that I speak with that never were pooping regularly and thought that that was okay. And there are studies. So I actually read one a couple days before I posted that on Instagram, so a couple days ago, about how if you are pooping less than 3 times per week, that there are extreme negatives that are happening inside your body and like negative health issues that can happen from that. And so if you right now, if that is you, you know, maybe a probiotic can help you in that area. But the first thing I would ask you is how much water are you drinking? And are you eating fiber? Are you eating carbs? So like the diets that take those away from you are causing more damage in the long run than you think. And the reality is that things like the keto diet, the paleo diet, Atkins diet, there's no long-term studies on those diets that tell you any of those things. And for the record, I don't think any of them are talking about their poop publicly because they're probably not pooping, okay?
100%. Not only that, like let's say you lost all the weight, you got the abs you wanted, but you have a big poop that's not coming out. That's not sexy. Like you're gonna go to the beach, and then what happens if that's the day, the third day hits, and you're like, oh, abs ain't gonna be looking too sexy when you're running to the bathroom. I'll tell you that much.
And by the way, if you're in New Jersey, there's not a lot of public beaches with bathrooms. So best of luck to you.
Gym, tan, laundry, bathroom.
Like you got to find the public beach with a bathroom. So that is the God's honest truth. But like the real matter of the story is, I think you said it best, like a probiotic can be helpful. And again, if you are on here and you have IBS and inflammatory bowel disease, if you have any type of Crohn's or any gut issues and you've been prescribed a probiotic from your doctor, a probiotic from your doctor, like please have this conversation with he or she. Again, we are not providing medical advice right now. We are just stating like the general ways that we can talk about this to the public, which is difficult when it comes to nutrition. So again, because everything is very, very, very customized. But again, probiotics could be putting a Band-Aid on a sinking ship. Like there's a big hole in your cruise ship. Like you're not putting the Titanic. You're not putting the Band-Aid on the Titanic right now as it's sinking to help you go to the bathroom and all these other things if your behaviors aren't stacked appropriately. And I think that is the key for everything that we've discussed thus far, is that there are certain things that like need to be in place before we talk about these next things. So the other piece of it is, and if there are any of my clients listening, you know that one of the things that I do recommend probiotics for though is travel. When you are away from home and when you're not necessarily regular and you're out of your routine or you're going overseas, going into uncharted territories, like that is definitely something that there is some research to back that up, that it can help with keeping your gut healthy when you're traveling and kind of putting your body through a different stress. But again, this is person to person. So nothing that is ever recommended is recommended on a broad scale. Does that make sense?
And if it is, you shouldn't trust it.
Right. Amen. So true. It's
hey,
so
this
true.
works for everybody.
Everybody.
Sorry to tell you that is 100% false.
And scary.
Yeah.
Like, scary. So that being said, I feel like I have my notes here were 3-month minimum, consistency, probiotic garden, and then the food aspect of it. So do you want to talk maybe about like how and what you can get real probiotics from food?
Nope, but thanks though. I appreciate it. Everyone have a good night.
Okay, bye.
So like real prebiotic foods. I don't know how many times we've heard this, but it's like, I don't know about you, but when you get on a plane, what do you tell people your job is if you're not sitting next to your husband and someone next to you is? Do you tell them that you're a dietitian?
No.
I know, because then they want to pick your brain for the rest of the flight. And
I put my earphones in.
It's a 2 o'clock in the afternoon flight. What are you doing? I'm going to sleep. Sorry.
Bye.
But if I ever get on a plane, I've done this when I was younger, and I'm like, hey, I'm a dietitian. They're like, oh my God, what can I do to lose weight? And I'm like, if there's one tip that I can tell you to help with your weight is to eat more fruits and vegetables. Why? That's where you can find that fiber that's going to feed your gut microbiome. I mean that the nicest way possible, but I hate getting on a plane and I tell someone, I'm like, you know what? I actually don't do anything. I'm a lazy person.
I sit at home. I actually put on mascara just for this call today, right now, just for the record. So I really do sit at home pretty much with my whiteboard.
Me too. But I decided to do the standing because I wanted to see how it would be, and I like it more. But anyways, fruit and vegetables. I mean, that's the best way to get those prebiotic fibers. I mean, and then like whole grain foods, like whole grain bread, whole grain pasta. I know you're a big fan of Bonza chickpeas.
So
I also love Bonza. I literally just showed my clients all week like the 4 boxes of the mac and cheese that I bought because I could eat it.
So good.
Beans, folks. Beans help you. The beans. The more you eat, the more you.
Toot.
All right. I didn't know it was going to be toot or back to the poop talk.
No, it's beans. Beans. They're good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you fart.
And for the rest of our IG Live, we're just going to be going over bean songs. So please go ahead and put your favorite in the comments.
Beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. That's the second one.
So these are all places you can find fiber. Whole grains, breads, beans, fruits and vegetables. I'm sorry.
And honest to God, I love you, Kayla. And honest to God, though, like, it's so much easier to get that fiber from real food sources instead of relying on the added fiber sources. Again, I've been in that like trickery world as well. However, I do really enjoy the high fiber crackers, but they're made out of bran. They're bran, so they're straight up bran. Bran is a natural source. It's the shell of the whole grain seed that gets hauled off. And like when they make white bread, okay guys, here's some knowledge for you since I worked in a grocery store forever. When they make white bread or processed white foods, right? They're literally taking this whole grain seed. The outside is called the bran. There's this little like powerhouse in the middle that's called the germ. And then there is this white starchy part that's called the endosperm. Or do I have that backwards?
No, you're right.
That's right. Okay. And then there's the white starchy part that's the endosperm, right? That little germ in the middle has all of the little bit of protein, some healthy fats, some nutrients, vitamins, antioxidants, whatever. That bran on the outside has the fiber.
Whatever.
And that starchy white stuff in the middle is the sugar. So that's the glucose or the carbohydrate. When they make white bread, for example, the milling process actually takes off that bran and they make my beautiful high fiber crackers with it. Hopefully they're not wasting it, but they put it away in the bin. They take out most of that germ in the middle and they leave you with just that white starchy endosperm area. And they're, in order to call it enriched, so if you look on your bread at home and it's enriched with blah, 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 enriched wheat bread, something like that, that means they literally have this like big bucket of the germ that they took out of and the bran that they took off of the seed. And they can literally like sprinkle it in, is how I picture it, into this big bucket of glucose, basically, salt bay it into the container, and then it's enriched wheat bread or enriched white bread, whatever it is. And so that's how they create white bread versus wheat bread, or whole grain bread has all 3 pieces of that seed on it. So with that said, the bran, which is the outside, right? I have a really great picture I can share with this one. But DM me if you guys want it. But it is, or Google it. It's right on Google. But the bran, or the outside, is that protective shell. It's the natural fiber that your body really can't digest on its own. It's tougher, but they make these beautiful fiber crackers out of it that keep me super full. So I eat those, as well as fruits, vegetables, beans, and other natural sources of fiber as well. Did you guys learn something?
I always give a heart.
Give
me
a heart.
Someone give us a heart right now if you've learned something. But fine. No one learned anything. You know what? We'll just leave you here on blank. We're just gonna hit and place your rage for the rest of the time.
We only have like 6 minutes before Instagram cuts us off anyway. So what's left?
So going back to that, like the fiber supplements, I know my dad used to mix like Metamucil, and I'm like, Dad, just eat like fiber rich foods. Oh, there are the hearts. There we go. Thanks you, people.
Guys. I love you.
Heart.
I'm sweating.
Yeah. So it's just like the dosage, the amount of pills that he had to take to get like an effective dosage. Literally for his whole day, he had to take 50 of those pills. And I was like, Dad, you can just like eat real food, right? Like you don't need to waste your money on these fiber supplements either. And he's like, oh, but the doctor says it helps me keep regular. And I'm like, you know what's gonna help? Just eat some more fruits and vegetables and some more whole grain bread.
Can you picture yourself eating those things forever? And like me personally, I've been eating these same crackers for like 12 years, but like I enjoy them. Like I put delicious things on them. However, I have a backup plan, and I don't eat them every single day. And like I get my fiber from other places. I had them for lunch today.
Yeah, I think you eat them every day.
Pretty much. But the reality is like understanding nutrition allows you to understand where you can get these other sources from without wasting your money on Metamucil that tastes like orange juice and like that mixes and it's like it looks like Tang, like it's gross. And honestly, then your body starts to rely on that dosage and that amount, and that's when you have to start adding more and more and more. It's just like laxative use. Like there's a lot of people that I've worked with that were very dependent on laxatives to go to the bathroom, but at a time it's like I can't take another dose, like I'm exceeding the recommendation or whatever, like what do I do? And it's like your body has gotten so used to doing its bodily functions based on this stimulant. It literally like stimulates your digestive tract to go to the bathroom, and that's not healthy or sustainable either. So there's a lot that we should do. Our next live should be all about fiber. It's literally my favorite topic.
Well, we talked about the two sides of poop, either super constipated or now you're running to the bathroom. So we don't want you in either one of those.
Ground. Like,
literally and figuratively.
There has to be a middle ground, but what we didn't mention is what probiotic sources of real foods are. We didn't mention those things. And one of the things that one of my clients learned the hard way recently is that just because a container says like that you can't, like sauerkraut, for example, I believe the recommendation on the bottle says you can use 1 to 2 tablespoons with every meal, doesn't mean you should. Because something like sauerkraut, I'm telling you, this client, I love her so much. We learned this the hard way, that she was overusing it. It's a live source of probiotics if it's being made correctly and you're buying one that's refrigerated and vetted and so on and so forth.
Yep.
But if you have not had any in your system and then you go to having like 8 tablespoons a day, 2 per meal or whatever it is, that's going to cause a lot of digestive discomfort. Doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong, but this is when we start talking about and thinking about listening when your body talks to you. Like it will always tell you what's working and what's not if you're like open to listening to it. So the reality is that just because something's recommended on a bottle or a dosage, like you need to start small, build up a tolerance, and then find your maintenance level. So other sources of probiotics that you can add in are specific yogurts, miso, which I really don't like, so I don't do that.
Really?
I don't like it. Tempeh has probiotics in it.
We're just gonna skip over that, huh? All right. Thanks for the talk, Jenna. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Like not really my thing.
Like no miso soup, no ramen, no nothing. That's fine. I'm not yucking your yum.
No, I love that. That's my favorite saying. But the other sources would be things like kombuchas or kefirs. But again, the same thing with these. You don't have to drink the whole bottle of kombucha. Half a bottle is what the recommendation on the label is. And last but not least, something like those foods that we've talked about, in order for them to work when you found your magic dose, you again have to have a source of them every single day. Because one salad, 1 dose of probiotics, 1 rep at the gym, like 1 supplement that does nothing anyways, is not making any changes for us. Like it's that consistent effort over time that will create the results for you, and you have to just stick with it.
And just to go to that probiotics point, except for supplements. But the probiotics, we brought a keg of kombucha to the baseball team, and they were like so excited to try it. We had them all try it. Let's just say some of them drank more. The next day during practice, they were running to the bathroom.
See you later.
I saw them running to second base fast to get out of there.
Like, Coach, I gotta go.
Coach, I don't know what's going on, but this is it. I need to go right now.
It's so funny.
So, one thing I didn't do after our last live, but I've been doing it on my last live. If you could choose, and I think I know your answer, but if you could have anything to hydrate you that is not, it can't be water. That's it. It's water and this other thing. That would be it. What would that be for you?
It can't be wine.
Yeah, it can be wine. There you go. Water and wine. We got Jesus here, folks. So you can't have your coconut water. You can't have your coffee and coconut water.
I really like watermelon water. There's some really fun, delicious recipes that you can make with that. So good. It's super tasty. And there's a lot of new research about how they put the rind in it. And most people don't eat most of the rind when they're eating watermelon. And that's really where that citrulline is. Which again, there's pills you can take, don't take them, but natural sources of them do have some minor benefits, and we don't get a lot of that in our diet. And it's delicious. It's also great with vodka.
Putting in all the watermelon rinds right now, because you told me that.
But it's really good with vodka. Sorry.
Hey!
Wait, but I can't figure out how to put on music so that we end it like we ended last time before Instagram cuts us off, because they only give us an hour, peeps.
Yeah, they cut us off last time. Literally, we're in the middle of a talk, and we're just like, all right, and it was like, hey, let's talk about Regular Girl real quick, and end. And it was like, oh, did you mean to end it? What happened, Jenna? I thought we were having a good time, and
peace. It's about to happen again. But to recap for everyone, we talked tonight about whole grains, fiber, probiotics, prebiotics, supplements, powders, collagen, balanced nutrition across the ages, nutrition that lasts. And we had some fun too. So if you're just hopping on, watch the live that will be on Tony's screen for the next hour. Hopefully it lets us save it so that we can repost it other places. But this was so fun. What should our next live be about? Somebody comment and tell us.
Fiber or poop or
I vote poop. In the kitchen right now, my cousin brought over today the book Everybody Poops, so everybody gets it. Oh my God, best present ever.
Today we're going to talk about poop. Why is no one watching today? It's just me and you today, Jenna.
I bet everybody would watch it. It's the topic nobody wants to talk about, but